What if the Cowboys are secretly building the most dangerous defense in the entire NFL right before our eyes? While everyone keeps focusing on Dallas offense, new rumors suggest Jerry Jones could be preparing massive defensive additions that would completely transform this team's identity. Imagine a unit led by Brooks, Gary, and Quinnen, a defense with power, speed, and the kind of energy that wins championships. Some fans think this would instantly make Dallas a Super Bowl favorite, while others believe stacking big names doesn't always guarantee success. But if these moves actually happen, the rest of the league may finally have a serious reason to fear the Cowboys again. The Dallas Cowboys may be preparing for one of the biggest moves of the entire NFL offseason, and fans are already going crazy over the latest trade rumors coming out of Dallas. Reports are beginning to heat up around the possibility that the Cowboys could target a massive defensive addition from the Las Vegas Raiders, and if this deal somehow becomes reality, it could completely change the balance of power in the NFC. The Cowboys have already made aggressive moves in recent months, but it looks like the front office may not be finished yet. There's growing belief around the league that Dallas wants to add another elite pass rusher to create one of the most dangerous defenses in football. And the player connected to these rumors isn't just any name. We're talking about a superstar defensive end with a contract worth nearly $100 million, a player capable of wrecking offenses single-handedly. Now imagine pairing that type of defensive force with Micah Parsons. Offensive coordinators across the NFL would lose sleep trying to figure out how to stop both players at the same time. It would instantly become one of the scariest pass-rushing duos in football, maybe even the best in the entire league. What makes these rumors even more interesting is the current situation in Las Vegas. The Raiders are entering a new phase as a franchise, and there are questions about long-term roster construction, salary cap flexibility, and whether they're willing to move expensive veterans in exchange for draft capital and younger talent. That's where Dallas suddenly enters the conversation. The Cowboys are clearly in win-now mode. Jerry Jones has made it obvious he wants another championship run while the core of this roster is still together. Dak Prescott is under enormous pressure, the fan base is demanding results, and after multiple disappointing playoff exits, Dallas knows it cannot afford another season that ends without a deep postseason push. That's why these trade rumors are gaining serious traction. League insiders believe Dallas could explore a blockbuster package involving future draft picks and possibly defensive depth pieces to bring in another elite edge rusher. The logic behind the move is simple. The Cowboys' defense was already dangerous last season, but adding another dominant defensive end could elevate this unit from great to absolutely unstoppable. Think about what happened during key games last season. There were moments where the Cowboys' defense struggled to consistently pressure elite quarterbacks when offenses focused all their attention on Micah Parsons. Opposing teams doubled him, chipped him with tight ends, and designed entire game plans around slowing him down. But if Dallas adds another superstar off the edge, defenses won't be able to focus on just one player anymore. And that's exactly why this rumor feels realistic. The NFL has become a quarterback-driven league, and the fastest way to destroy elite offenses is by creating relentless pressure. We've seen championship teams build dominant defensive fronts before. The Eagles did it. The 49ers did it. Even the Chiefs invested heavily in pass rush before their Super Bowl runs. Dallas may now be trying to follow that exact blueprint. Fans are already debating whether the Cowboys should go all in on a move like this. Some believe giving up major draft assets would be risky, especially for a player carrying such a massive contract. Others are saying none of that matters if it finally helps Dallas return to the Super Bowl. And honestly, there's pressure everywhere. Right now inside this organization, Jerry Jones knows Cowboys fans are tired of hearing about potential. They want results. They want playoff wins. They want a championship contender that can actually finish the job in January. Bringing in another superstar defender would send a clear message to the entire NFL that Dallas is no longer thinking small. What's also fueling speculation is the fact that the Cowboys have been unusually aggressive in roster discussions recently. Multiple insiders believe Dallas is actively exploring ways to maximize this championship window instead of waiting for long-term development. That mindset changes everything because it means the franchise may finally be willing to make bold moves instead of playing it safe. And let's be honest here, this would absolutely qualify as bold. A trade involving a $100 million defensive star would instantly become one of the biggest stories in the NFL. Sports media would explode. Cowboys fans would celebrate all over social media, and rival NFC teams would immediately recognize that Dallas just became even more dangerous, but there are still challenges. The financial side of this potential move could get complicated very quickly. The Cowboys would need to structure contracts carefully, possibly adjust current deals, and create enough flexibility to absorb such a massive salary. That's not impossible, but it definitely requires serious commitment from the front office. Then there's the question of compensation. The Raiders would likely demand premium draft picks in return. Teams don't simply give away elite pass rushers unless the offer is enormous. Dallas would have to decide whether sacrificing future assets is worth the gamble right now, and that decision could shape the franchise for years. Still, many analysts believe the Cowboys are closer to a championship than people realize. When healthy, this roster already has star power on both sides of the ball. Dak Prescott remains capable of elite stretches. CeeDee Lamb has become one of the top receivers in football. The offensive line still has talent, and defensively, Micah Parsons is already a game-changing force every single week. Adding another elite edge rusher could be the final piece that pushes this defense over the top. Imagine third and long situations with Parsons attacking from one side and another superstar coming off the opposite edge. Quarterbacks would barely have time to breathe. Offensive lines would be forced into impossible situations, and turnovers would likely increase because constant pressure creates mistakes. That's why Cowboys fans are paying very close attention to every rumor right now. The franchise has spent years searching for the right formula to finally break through in the playoffs. Maybe Dallas believes overwhelming defensive dominance is the answer. Maybe they believe championships are won by terrorizing quarterbacks. And honestly, recent NFL history suggests they might be right. There's also another important factor here that people aren't talking about enough. The NFC landscape is changing. Several teams are reloading, others are rebuilding, and Dallas may view this moment as the perfect opportunity to strike aggressively before the conference becomes even tougher. Timing matters in the NFL. Windows close fast, injuries happen, contracts expire, rosters change overnight. The Cowboys know they cannot assume future opportunities will always exist, that urgency could be pushing them toward a blockbuster decision. At the same time, fans should remember that trade rumors don't always become reality. Front offices explore possibilities constantly during the offseason. Some discussions gain momentum while others quietly disappear. But the fact that Dallas continues being connected to major defensive upgrades tells you something important. This team is hunting for impact players. They understand that simply repeating last season's approach may not be enough to compete with the NFL's elite teams. They know adjustments are necessary, and they clearly recognize that dominating in the trenches remains one of the most important ingredients for championship football. If this trade somehow happens, the expectations in Dallas would skyrocket immediately. There would be no more excuses, no more waiting, no more patience from fans. A move of this magnitude would signal one thing and one thing only: the Cowboys believe they are built to win right now. And honestly, that pressure might be exactly what this franchise needs. Cowboys fans have waited far too long for another Super Bowl appearance. Every offseason brings hope, hype, and massive expectations. But this rumor feels different because it involves a proven superstar who could immediately transform the identity of the defense. Now the entire NFL world is watching to see whether Dallas actually pulls the trigger. Will Jerry Jones go all in for another championship push? Will the Cowboys risk major draft assets and financial flexibility to build a dominant defensive front? Or will these rumors ultimately fade away like so many blockbuster discussions before them? Right now, nobody knows for sure. But one thing is absolutely clear: the Cowboys are being linked to one of the biggest potential trades in football, and if this move somehow becomes reality, it could completely reshape the NFC playoff picture overnight. This story is developing fast, and fans should expect more rumors, insider reports, and speculation in the coming days, because when the Dallas Cowboys get connected to blockbuster moves, the entire NFL pays attention. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and stay locked in for all the latest Cowboys news, trade rumors, and breaking NFL updates, because things in Dallas may just be getting started.